Holy cow. All right, good. I made some kind of arrangement to get this mic working. It kind of went out on me again. Anyway, guys, welcome back. Welcome to the Thursday show. And there's some changes happening with the channel. Um and I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about where I plan on taking it. I actually because there's an array of topics that like think about it this way in our society, right? Everything is affecting everything, right? So even the heading on this channel about the tariffs, right? And when you realize that the majority of vacuum cleaners are made in other countries, okay? Majority of vacuum parts, aftermarket parts. Um, so we do rely on these relationships and partnerships to conduct our business where we are, right? At the very same time, we have to also be mindful of um, a country's leadership's um, need, okay, all through our history to plunder and pillage. So either you do it by force or you do it by some kind of, um, economic mechanism or, treachery in the background or whatever it is. But that's just what it is. It's where we're humans, right? It's like a law of nature thing, right? When I turn on the nature channel and I see like the animal chasing the gazelle, and I look at that innocent gazelle, and I'm like, oh my God, he just woke up this morning. You see those memes all the time where it says, I wake up every day to chase a gazelle. This guy, I wake up every day to run from the lion or whatever. And that's just what it is. And a person would say then, well, those guys are, they're not human. They don't have consciousness. They're programmed to operate that way. Okay. Well, I kind of beg to differ. I think that we are also programmed to operate a certain way. Like we are animals of this planet, if you want to look at it that way. You want to see us as divine, and that's perfectly okay. I'm cool with that. I think that's necessary to have that view. Uh of divinity in body form. We're not like these guys over here. We're civilized, right? I prefer you have that attitude than to have like we're savages attitude. How's that? Okay. I prefer to have churches than not. I prefer to have laws than not. You get what I'm saying? So even though the laws need to be tweaked, I prefer to have them than not. I prefer to have police than not. You understand? So that's kind of the way I was talking to a friend of mine about it. And don't worry, I'm not going off topic, but it was about church and everything else. And they said, well, everybody doesn't believe everything, and I just hate when people like are so condescending and all. I said, I get it, but I prefer that the churches are on these blocks. As much trouble as a particular church can give us, or pastors and all the other stuff, we are already doing things, right? But that is a net positive to make sure that people have something to fear than to break into your house because they're doing it anyway with the thing to fear. It's just that imagine how much more it would be if they didn't have that baseline that, you know what, you need to be good, right? And who's telling me to be good? Can I find them? No, it's invisible and it's watching you all the time, and you got to be good, right? So there's certain things that is absolutely necessary, even though in your mind it's like no, our world would not exist without it. So the same thing with us right now when it comes to our economy, right? Like, listen, Amazon is like a conundrum for a lot of people. A lot of businesses like mine, we're small, right? And Amazon, you can sell an item in Amazon, but the fact that Amazon also promotes its own brand or its own choices, it's almost like they'll see and you could talk to someone more qualified on this, but just at least raise the question that I'm raising. Is it possible that they see what's popular and then put out their own version of that thing? Right, man, this thing is trending. Do we have something? Do we have any control over this market? Let's put up our stuff. And then you have the Amazon choice, and then you have like other options underneath. And those are all those little mini sellers that are trying to sell their little items on Amazon. So At the same time, when I need something, I need a vacuum part, I need a part that no one else is selling. A lot of the times I can find it on Amazon. It's like, damn. And guess where it's probably made at? It's probably made in China or someplace like that, right? So anyway, that's that's what we find ourselves in. Every time guys say stuff like, China's our enemy, right? Or this country's our enemy. I see it different because I know that words are said to trigger people's reaction and emotion. But then when you look at the actions, then the actions tell you something different. Like, okay, for example, was it last year or the year before? And let me set some things up anyway. And last year, the year before, Gavin Newsom, right, governor of California, invited Xi Jinping to come to San Francisco, I think it was. And there was a big stink about how before he got there, there was like a homeless issue, like homeless people in the street and defecation on stuff like that, right? And then when the president of China, or the emperor, or whatever, was coming, all of a sudden he cleaned up the whole thing, right? And then he was kind of honest about it. He was like, we got guests coming over, he's gonna clean up. It's like, what? I can't even hate on the guy for that because he have other issues. But this particular thing, he was as blunt and as honest as maybe the way Trump would approach something like that, right? Because he's always like Gavin's always trying to do some kind of spin. He's doing this thing. He's always spinning it. He's that salesman type deal, and not the good ones. So, but I do the same thing. I have people coming over. I try to clean up and stuff like that, right? But the state of this, where it was before versus like prior is what I think what got people like real weird about it. It's like, come on, man, what are you talking about? And then it goes back. So anyway, so if that happens, if that president, that's the enemy, is showing up in our country talking to governor about possible EV deal or something like that, what are you telling me then? How is it possible that you're even allowing the enemy, right, to just come in and just walk around and just, man, what's going on? What you guys have going on over here? I don't get it, right? So, in other words, don't that the idea of enemy and those actions and the dealings and all this other stuff they don't go together, right? That test where you have this word matches that word, they don't go together. Now, competitor, um, adversarial partner, right? Words like that. I understand that because I'm like, if we're still doing business together, I don't know. What are you telling me? We still have all these deals. We're still no, man. It's just it's another competitive market that's trying to come up and trying to make a name for itself. And it's just like somebody competing in sports, another team. They just want to be the one on top, right? And these guys want to be on top. I don't want us to lose any footing because this is where I live, and this is where I have my loyalty, and this is where my family lives. And if anything happens to this country, period, it affects me directly. So yes, I am down. I remember growing up, and I hope no one tuned out, man, because like I said, I'm really making some changes to the channel, and so that means part of my channels are going to be um, tutorials, and that's what you get. You're not going to get any commentary about anything else. Some of it is going to be about some tech that's coming out that I'm interested in, and some of it is going to be about a mixture of things. Just the live stuff is just me ranting and talking to people about stuff, and hopefully I can answer a question or two. Okay. So anyway, I had to kind of deal with that because I remember people like pumping into my brain. I said this to a guy the other day, and I'm gonna move on from this and why um and why these topics interest me. I'm gonna tell you why they do at a personal level. All right, but we're gonna get into the whole tariff thing. But I'm gonna let you know why these things interest me. All right, but in the meantime, I really do want to see the announcements, and don't and try not to make sure I don't forget that point. But I don't want to miss this, and we're gonna get back to our merch. Before we go any further, guys, don't forget, we do have a store. We do have a Monroe Vacuum and Supplies store. You go to monroevacuum.com. You want to buy parts and supplies. Now, if I don't have them, like I said, just email me and I'll put them up there. It's still it's real. I'll be honest with you, man. It's an under developed website. Okay, I am grinding all day, and I haven't hired a team for stuff like that yet. So it's on its way. Okay, when things kind of pick up, you'll see more things, right? And GMR shirts, where I have a few shirts and up for sale. And if you want to support the channel, you can do that also. Okay. Now we also have a backpack. If you go into monroevacuums.com, the first. I think the first prompt there's a pop-up that will show up, and it's going to be a Titan backpack that's on sale right now. There's normally some guys have it on sale for $5.99, some guys for something the manufacturer suggested price is $3.99. Right now we have it on sale for 379.99. So someone wanted one of those backpack. Those are good backup vacuums. Like you have it in your garage, you have an emergency, you need something, your other vacuum went out. A backpack is good to have. A lot of cleaning companies have them. A lot of the cleaning ladies, they use a lot of backpacks, whether it's Protein, um, Hoover backpacks, and the Titan backpacks, of course. The Pro Teams on the higher end, $600, $700, $800 backpacks. This one is a little bit on the lower spectrum of the price, but it's a good quality backpack. All right, Titans is pretty good. So just keep that in mind. All right, as as we go through everything, and in the meantime, I do have something I want to see. Trump was talking about his tariff because it just went into effect, and all this stuff does affect all of us. So let's take it here and see what Homeboy's saying here, right? It's a Homeboy.
United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations, even, but we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. Thanks, Howard. So if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes.
Okay. Okay. So tariffs are one ways that they impact the movement, the tax products that are coming into your country. And the other way are different kind of trade barriers or regulations or things like that that would prevent another market. Now think about it for a second, right? I look, I don't blame none of these countries. I don't blame the US. I don't blame Trump for none of this stuff. It's just business. It's just that we we were like, let's say, call us the big guys on the planet, right? We were one of the big, the big guys. And then these guys want to get into the action. So we created this whole free trade thing. So let's get everybody in, let's share the pie. And I think we figured that our pie was so big that we're going to give you a alley oop. We're going to give you one of these leg up things. You ever seen an alley oop? You step on it, alley. And this way you guys can, get your economy going, and maybe we, some of our businesses can benefit from that and all the other stuff. And then, but if you don't constantly revisit your budget, constantly revisit your agreements, you know, people's prices go up every year when it comes to rent. Okay. Um, User agreements are changed all the time when it comes to iPhones and all these different gadgets. Privacy agreements are updated on a regular basis. So when you have, let's say, for example, like Canada, who have a tariff on some of its dairy products at 200+%, And maybe at the time, because I also heard that the farmers were being paid to dump their dairy products, right? And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why, man? I remember hearing that. I think it was watching a YouTube special. Like, why, man? Why would they do that? But it's amazing that a lot of the times we get such small pieces of the truth. Like the whole picture is like this, right? And a media outlet or a newspaper or whatever or even what we pay attention to is just this little corner right here, like what's happening right there. And this is not right. And this is not fair. And if we knew what the entire thing was about, we would say, oh, well, that changes things. You know what I mean? Like I just upset, I upset, I, I upset my wife yesterday. my, my son and I were driving to drop him off at a place, and we knew that she was going to meet us, right? But like that movie when, because we have to drive down a block and then we have to make a right turn and go all the way down and find the cul-de-sac and all that stuff. So it's all the way on that side over there. But she was parked on the main road, like on the side of the road, and she never said to us that she was parked right there, right? She did say, "I'm gonna meet you guys there," right? So as we're driving up, we see her car parked. Like over there, we recognize her car, but we were actually on the phone with her, right? And we're like, man, Sam, it looked like you're stalking. Oh, she was so upset, right? She was pissed, right? I came here, I was trying to spend some time with you guys. It's like, I'm so sorry, man. Oh, I was a little irritated. I was like, man, come on, I'm making a joke. You don't get that pissed off over a joke. Come on. But anyway, but see, so I didn't see the whole picture. And the joke was just a joke, right? She didn't see the whole picture. So it's very easy to get upset when you don't know the whole picture of everything else. Anyway, it may be a silly analogy. It just popped in my head. So I was happy to share it. All right. Anyway, guys, let me move on to the next thing. So how is this thing gonna affect the cleaning industry? Right? This whole tariff thing, right? And Hoover, a lot of companies say that they are made in the United States. A lot of vacuum companies, a lot of cleaning companies. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of things are assembled here. It's not really made here. Now, for some people, it's not that important anymore if things are made here. They just want a good deal, right? And um, I wanna give you a perspective. I'm gonna get to my shampoo in a second. I want to give you a perspective that maybe some people haven't thought about. Okay, just think about it for a second. Um, is it possible that there's a bigger picture that even you can't see when it comes to the relationship with all these countries and all this tariffs and all this support and all this stuff, like the USAID thing? I know there's a big picture to that. I know that to some extent, this thing was helping America's foothold or something like that, right? And people are upset at it, and people want to get rid of it, and people don't want to get rid of it for like a small reason. But there's a big picture to it, right? And we don't know the whole big picture to some of this stuff. So you have to kind of assume some certain things or put two and two together. You know what I mean? So, there's a bigger picture. I think that when it comes to the tariff stuff, there's a negotiation factor. When you're not a risk taker, when you're not a business person, or salesperson, or someone that actually truly risk it all and have to live in that world of risk and reward. You have to live in that world. So you learn how to swim in those waters. It's different than the shore, okay? Like having to close at a closing table, having to negotiate a deal is different from someone who just gets the benefits from the negotiation. Okay, totally different world. So in my mind, the tariffs opened the door to negotiation. It it kind of humbles certain relationships. It may strengthen others, but I think there's a bigger picture than just, oh man, we're going to pay higher taxes on vacuum parts. or, shampoo, or, or cars or something. There's a bigger picture. And if that bigger picture means Americans make more money, I'm for that. Okay. And if it means that, all right, well, great. Now we can get into your market. Okay. You're going to let us in? Okay. Because we let you in for the last 30 years. Are you going to let us into your market? Yes. Okay. If that's what it does, fantastic. But we're already being overcharged by so many. How worse can it get? We're already being overcharged. We're already being over leveraged. We're already paying too much. We're already going. Our income is not matching the inflation. So even though a little bit more money is being made here, it's more money is being going out anyway. So it's already backwards. So I prefer something be done than we just talk about it. Like we just like there's a problem, Yeah, okay, great. We're working on it. We're trying to get some votes to go on. Man, listen, let's get it done. And now that it's being done, now you're talking serious about it. Great. I'm glad that he dropped a grenade into this whole topic. Okay. Here's the last thing on this. Look at it differently. Okay, so because if it brings people to the table, okay, like I'll give you an example. Um, who said who said they're coming back to the table? I think it was Canada. Let me find it. Canada. Read
Doug
this.
Ford. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We're willing to take these tariffs off like in the next minute if he said he's taking their tariffs off.
Thailand's prime minister says, quote, "We have prepared several steps, including sending our permanent secretary to talk with them. I think we can still negotiate." And the deputy finance minister saying we have to talk about which products they feel are unfair, and we have to see whether we can adjust. The Italian prime minister says she's going to do everything she can do to move forward with an agreement. Ireland's deputy prime minister saying he is committed to working with the president as well. Australia's prime minister condemned these tariffs, but says he is not going to reciprocate and he will negotiate. The European Union is now reacting too.
We have always been ready to negotiate with the United States to remove the remaining barriers to transatlantic trade.
Okay. All right. So the tariff created that little negotiation push created a situation where, but prior, you weren't removing the barriers to trade. Prior to that, we couldn't get our products into your market. Prior to that, you see what I'm saying? Like these other guys, like Canada, you were overcharging us, and the moment we said, let's make it fair, man, you trying to break our economy? What the hell, man? I thought you were our friend. No, I was your friend. I was your friend for a long, long time, and I was giving you money for a long time, and now, can you help with the dishes, man? I mean, can you cut my grass or something? Can you help with something? Nah, man, you overworking. Really? It's anyway, that's how I see these things. So the let me get this machine up here. So if you have a Bissell big green machine and you ever want to replace the motor, I'm gonna do a little quick demo of that. How much time I have? I have a lot of time, guys. I have a lot of time. But so now the yeah, now we could talk. Let's talk. Let's talk because at the end of the day, we still have the biggest market in the planet. So let's talk. No, that makes sense to me. So I'm down with that, man. All right. If it could have been done by any, I don't care which president had done it. Just get the conversation going, man. Get the ball rolling. Get the ball rolling. Here's the last thing I was saying about that topic here. At least, at least partly the last part of my little crazy monologue taking so long. Um, you know how people were talking about taxing the billionaires and taxing the billionaires and tax the billionaires. You got to tax them more. You got to tax them more. You got to tax them more. I'm not a billionaire. Okay. I I think there's how many billionaires are in where are most of the billionaires? I swear most of the billionaires are in California and some other place. Hold on, give me a second. I think I have it somewhere. Let me see something. Most of the billionaires, where do they live? Yep. California, New York City, Boston, Seattle. Some of the richest people in our area. And you know it's weird? Those are like the places with the highest taxes. Those are the states with the highest taxes, right? But it says that the richest people are often make their fortunes in the high opportunity ecosystem, right? But these places may have higher taxes, but they often unmatched access, right? Okay. So you have top tier talent, major investment, venture capital, global infrastructure, etc. So they're at these places because of those benefits. But at the same time, they set up trusts, they have real estate depreciation, they have capital gains. There's a whole lot of other things that are available to everybody in America that just so happens to be that the people with the most money can leverage it the best. Okay. So those things are not going anywhere because the people that are in government also have a lot of money. So and their supporters have a lot of money. And the billionaire class was really the Democrat class for a long time. So when they say tax the billionaires, I was always like confused about that. And then they said, well, you tax those guys, right? It's going to help us with stuff. And then I thought to myself, I said, wait a second. Are we the only country that have billionaires? They said, no, you can't put tariffs because the prices are going to go up. If you tax the people here more money, don't you think prices are going to go up here? Like if you tax the business more money, what's the business going to do? They're going to find ways to avoid taxes, but also going to find a way to cut costs. How do businesses cut costs? They're going to have a reduction in service, or they're going to lay people off. So if you tax these people more, that are the job makers in the country, what are they going to do? If you're going to tax the guys who build things more, what are they going to do? They're going to either stop building here, raise the price of the things they're going to build. It's going to affect us here. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I know you say the trickle down economics don't work, but then this is their money. What do you talk? Why are you demanding their money? It's their money, just like it's your money. It's like if someone less than you in your neighborhood ask the homeowners association to charge you more money so their neighborhood can be better. Charge the guy who makes the most money in our neighborhood more money for homeowners association fees. Why? Because we want our grass to be better. So why don't you pay more in yours? No, they make more money, so charge them more. It's ridiculous. Okay, it is. But if billionaires are in those other countries that we're tariffing, and you're saying that, well, if we tariff those guys, we're gonna pay more. If you want to tax the billionaires, then tax those billionaires too, right? Charge those people. Because if you tax people here, the price is going to go up, and if you charge people there, the price is going to go. That's what you're saying? So either way, right? So who have the better negotiation? The guys on this side, they have all those things. They have the trust, they have levies, they have all that stuff to avoid paying taxes. That's just the law is there for you too. Okay, when you do your tax, you write off stuff, you claim things so you don't have to, you can get some of your money back. These guys write things off so they don't have to put that much money out, right? But the money's still being collected on this side. There's no real negotiation here because the laws are already in place, and they just, they move the money. We used to complain about guys having offshore accounts. That's not going to change, right? Okay, so there's no real negotiation on this side, trust me. There's none. Over here, though, the billionaires on the other side of the world who are shipping stuff into our country, we're able to negotiate. At least we can negotiate. But taxing people more here, bad idea for the citizens, number one. But really, really, man, guy worked. You're going to have the people who don't have the most, just continue to hate people who achieve more. That's not the way you want people in our country to kind of have pride and being successful in America. That you're now the bad guy. It's a bad policy. It's a bad like messaging to tell the young kids that the successful people are evil. So we got to take their money. I'm still baffled by that, but it works. So they do it anyway. Let's move on, man. I'm done with this ranting. All right, I'm done. But I did show you a meme earlier in the beginning of the show that I think um I think makes sense. And but I wanna look at this a slightly different way too. All right, let's consider this for a second. I like the premise, right? The idea of the day people understand this image, everything will change. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think so. All right, look. So all of these fishes are working together to eat the shark, right? Obviously, the shark has a place, a part to play in the ecosystem of the thing, but that's besides the point. In other words, what you're saying is all the little guys come together to beat up on the big guy. Okay, I get it. All right, we all work together and we can do that. All right, fantastic. All right, now that you ate the big guy, what next? Like you took the big guy down, what next? Okay. Okay, we ate all the big guys. All the big guys are gone. What next? Now, who runs the show? Which one of these little guys here? Because this to me, this is you can look at this as teamwork, right? That's fine. But the fact that you're saying that they're going to eat the big shark. Okay, I'll give you another one. I have another one for you. Okay. Here's the one I'm talking about, guys, so you can understand what I meant by that. This is what we're talking about. This image here. And after you eat the big shark, okay? You know what I was doing just now? The image is on the left side of my screen, and what's being transmitted is on the right side of the screen. So I'm looking at the left side of the screen and I'm describing what I'm talking about. And I didn't realize that you're not seeing it. So, that's so stupid. Well, let me see. Let me see. Now here's another one with this. This had the same title as that one before about the group thing, and I'm like, something is off. I get what you're saying, but something is off, man. If you guys can think of something that why I'm uncomfortable with this, because I know that we work better as teams, but somebody's leading the team most of the time. The idea of everyone leads the team, I don't know, man. It doesn't. It seems like it doesn't. No, it doesn't work like that. Oh, we're a collective, and yeah, I know. Maybe in a village, but every well-run unit, you're gonna have a leader. You're gonna have a dominant person leading the way. And if this is how you see it, like, okay, so we're all standing up. He's obviously the instructor, but they gave him a whip. Okay, fine. The next image, one guy says, I'm not gonna stand up. So he's like, everybody bow down to me. All right, I get it. All right. Then the next guy follows. All right. Now, who leads at the end? Now, if this guy's evil, obviously, right? We're gonna. But you're assuming that number one, we're assuming the shark is evil in that other clip. And number one, we're assuming that this guy's evil. But the whole whip thing, I get it. You put the whip in his hand, he's evil. But just take out the whip and you say you have one person that's leading the team, okay? And everyone bows down. All right. All right. Okay. And then, so now, none of you guys are getting instruction because obviously this guy was given instruction. So maybe he's a tough instructor. And, well, I'm not going to listen to your instructions. And then the other guy says, well, I'm not listening. And nobody listens to the instructions. And now what they're saying is that now we're going to have him bending down. Okay, great. So let's say he backs out. He's like, okay, all right, you guys got it. What are you being taught now? Who's leading the ship? And again, it's nuance. If the guy's evil, obviously you move him out. But you're still going to have to put somebody here in his place. That's going to lead the ship. You see what I'm saying? Like the fishes, there are smaller things in the ocean than the fish, right? There are smaller things in the ocean than the fish. Don't you think that the smaller things in the ocean sees the fish the way the fish sees the shark? Like what now? You understand? Those tiny little, I don't know what the fishes eat, the little maggots or whatever. The tiny, whatever the tiny little thing, the shrimps, whatever the smaller guy in the ocean, the fish, okay? The fish eats those guys. So aren't those guys like coming together saying with the same kind of image, man, if we all band together, we can eat that fish. The fish is like, man, if we all band together, we can eat that shark. And the shark is like, man, if we all band together, we can stop those people. You saw the movie Jaws, right? Oh man. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. I'm moving on. All right, guys. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, let's replace this motor. But the tariffs, I see that vacuum cleaner parts. I was reading a story and they said that right now they don't see any significant change. I remember the first time I heard about tariffs in Trump's first term. I remember some bags had went up in prices. Uh, I think some bags had went up in prices, but I didn't understand the relationship. I didn't know, um, like guys, over time, this thing cannot continue like this. We cannot continue to pay more, um, and at the same time, we're losing opportunities, and we can't keep it going for too long. This can't continue. All right. Anyway, all right, guys. For those who hung around long enough to find out this next part, this is a big green machine. I've been working on this. The wheels are off or anything, but the motor is back here. Okay, the motor is in this section. So let me adjust this camera a little bit. All right, and guys, look, I could be totally wrong about most of this stuff. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's all. And we're in a crazy environment now that even sharing your thoughts, people are likely to want to kill you metaphorically and maybe even hurt you physically or see you in jail because you have a different thought than they do. And that's unhealthy, man. Who took us here? Who took us here? All right, so guys, I'm going to take the screws out the front panel. The front panel is right here. Okay, take a look. You see this? Okay, see, I started taking this screw out. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. Hey, can I take this off all the way? Hey, let me see. Make it easy for you guys to see me. Oh no, they got the power cord. Okay. Um. Okay. Fine. 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 I'll do it like this. I'll do it like this, folks. Don't worry, guys. I'll settle in, man. My channel is gonna get better. My approach, all that stuff is gonna get better. Persistence overcomes resistance, right? It's all gonna get better. I'm gonna find my secret sauce. Find the secret sauce, and you guys gonna be proud of it. Okay? All those who've been supporting, who hung around. I'm sure I said something that not everyone agree with, and that's fine. You're not supposed to. You know, you're not supposed. I was listening to a debate the other day about the men and women about I think it was a patriarchy, something like that. And I hope I'm doing this. You know what? I'm taking. Yeah, I might be doing this right. I might be doing it right. Okay, good. It's been a while since I opened up this motor here. Okay, take the screws out. Two of the screws are still in there. They didn't come out right away. And then we're going to take out these back screws right here. These right here. Oh, okay. We're just changing. We're replacing the motor, folks. Okay. Let me get my magnet. I have these little magnet things that I can put on here sometimes. Sometimes they work. You know. Let me see. Let me get you out of here. Come on. Come on, man. Is this even magnetized? Let me see the screws. No, they're not. Shh. Look at it. These screws are not magnetized. Like it works. Look, see? So it's a magnet, but the screws are not. So that's where I have my issue here. All right, I'm gonna get a flat head and just kind of pry it out. Give me a second, folks. Let me see a needle nose. Maybe I can get this needle nose pliers. You know what I used to do? I used to just do that and then pull at the same time like this. Like I'll, if it doesn't work, I'll turn it over. Or I could put some kind of sticky stuff like glue or tape. Come on, man, get out of here already. Are you kidding me? Um, Hold on, let me get some tape. I don't want to turn this whole machine over to get the screw to fall out. So I'm just trying other things right now. If I have to, I'll turn it upside down. Is it coming out? Go on your road, man. What the hell? Okay, now come out. Let me see. I'm just trying stuff to see what works. No, damn it. All right, forget it. Turn it over. There we go. Let me. Oh, it's not coming out. All right, here it is. Shit. Let me try again. Got another one. My last screw, folks, right here. This guy's kicking my butt. Ah, frick. Maybe a bubble gum or something, but I don't have any bubble gum right. Come on, let me try again. Let me try a different drill bit. Come on out of here. All right, let me turn it over again. There we go. He fell out. Damn. Golly. Okay, so ah, let's take this guy off. Let's take this guy off. You know what's great? I gotta change my starter, right? I changed my starter already. And I got a hold of a friend of mine, my neighbor. He runs an auto mechanic. And I like doing things myself. So, he kind of gets on me like, man, Wayne, come on, just bring it over. I'll take it. I'll do it. And I used to pay a lot of money to fix my cars, man. I like a lot. And it just got to a point when I was like, golly, man, everything is everything is 500-600 bucks, man. What the hell? Um, and then I finally, because I was in sales for a long time, and I didn't have time. Like time was, still is that kind of commodity. I couldn't afford to just waste any time. All right. So I figured with the time that I'm saving by having someone do it for me, I use that time to make money. Okay. And it used to work out. But then it just got to where I started my own business. And then I was like, whoa, it's because I had a couple of vehicles, and then now you're paying for that, because I was watching a guy I was working with in his location. He was like the big business owner, and I was stationed in Monroe. He was stationed up in Rockham, and he was always paying for repairs because he had like 5 or 6 vehicles on the road. And I was like, oh my God, man, dude. I mean, the repair cost was ridiculous. And finally, I was like, look, man, let me just learn to change my own brakes. Okay. And this was even before I was working on these machines. I mean, the only thing I did back then was I knew how to polish Kirby's and how to change out a fan blade or something like that, for customer service stuff. I worked in the office. I was the office manager. And finally, I said, let me learn how to do this stuff. And I figured out that, it's only turning screws. That's all it was. It was just turning screws. Once I realized that's what it was, like nuts and bolts, I can get a ratchet, wrench. I can get, once I can do it, if I can turn it and get it off, I can put it back on. And once, once that popped in my brain, that wait, I can just get a screwdriver, you mean, and turn the screw. I may not know what to do. Then, okay, well then, why don't you go on YouTube? I'm sure somebody is doing it. Really? Okay, get on YouTube. This is how you change your brakes on this SUV. It was it was that easy? Yes, it was that easy. So so hopefully this channel is helping some of us who want to learn how to do things ourselves, and also save money to do that. All right, this just came right off. So I took out the screws that I was taking out in the front was holding this in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's what it was for. Okay, it was holding this in place. All right, is that cool? So this is off. Here's your motor. Okay, here's your motor, guys. Here's your, and you should be able to, if it's not by the end of this video, I will make sure I have it up here. If you do need to replace one of these motors, you need to buy one. I should have a link. If I don't have it now, it will be in the next couple of hours, but I'll have a link up so people can buy this motor. Okay, so here we go. Let's get in here. Let's take this off. So look, remember when I told you all it is let me change this drill bit. When I told you all it is changing screws out and bolts and stuff like that, I want to show you something. Take a look. Okay? So all I did, okay, was remove screws just now. Okay? I removed the screws back here. And in the front, I remove these two screws for the motor mount. See that? What's the other one? Right here. Okay? That's all I did. Remove screws, took off the panel, remove these screws. I'm going to lift this up, and if there's another screw, oh, there's another screw. And also the other thing you're going to have to exercise is a little investigation. All right, I think our tagline for the new Monroe Vax 360, that's going to be a new banner, a new badge. We're going to have a new badge with Monroe Vax 360. And 360 is that we're just looking at everything that affects us in our society. And I do a lot of things. I run my supply business, repair business. I have my shirts that I sell. I do art classes. I do portraits for individuals. For those who've never seen my stuff, my portraits are back here. I'll show you one of them. I'll show you one of them. I've already shown my Stan Lee one. This is one of from some years ago. Young lady from my Facebook team. Let me see. This one I did this one in pencil. This is pencil, color pencil. Is that cool? Is that nice? I like this picture of it. I think her eyes was what captivated me to want to draw this picture. But this is a portrait I did. And so I'll do portraits of people and ship it off to them and stuff like that. So all of our lives incorporate a lot of things. All right. And so that's my channels. We talk about whatever it is, whatever comes to mind, whatever's in topic. But also we're going to have a lot of repair videos that you're going to have a library to go to be able to go back into the vault and pull up different repair videos. So that's my goal for the channel. All right. Hopefully it lands and it works and you guys can benefit more from it as I go forward. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. I'm gonna try to take this out. This is all the way down here, so you're gonna need a long screwdriver for this thing. This is not working. This, even though it's long, take a look. It's a long drill bit, but it's not working. I think this part right here is being blocked by this section right here. I'm trying to get to the screw all the way back here. Okay, so give me a second. Let me just get a long screwdriver. Just a regular old skinny guy like this. Okay, and hopefully he can just slide right in and take it out. Let's see. Okay, here he is right here. And sometimes even a small screwdriver might do it because you're gonna get in down in here instead of having to go from all the way up here. So let me see. Is this working? No. This tip is too small. I need a bigger tip. Okay, give me a second. Um, Come on, where are my big guys? Why going you, man? All right, you know what? Let's try this then. Let's try this, guys. Give me a sec. Let me go in low from in here then. Come on. What a place to put this thing, huh? Come on. Almost there. Yes. Okay. All right. It's a little loose. All right. So let me see if I can use this guy and loosen it the rest of the way. No, it's not playing. It's not playing with me, guys. Give me a second. It's it's not it's not playing with me. Give me a moment. All right. Anyway, in the meantime, uh let's hear this guy while I try to get the screw out. Okay. I don't wanna have you guys just here and nothing good's coming from this, all right? Give me a moment. Let's hear what this guy has to say about the tariffs.
Do you worry about the instability of not easing this transition? But is this and look, I've read the whole like Mar-a-Lago Accord, and I don't know if that's a conspiracy, but is the idea that there's some master plan if we create this chaos, we cause all this thing, to draw people to Mar-a-Lago where they renegotiate our nation's debt? Is that something that you think is plausible? Or is that what this is all about? Is that why they're not doing it in a way that seems more thoughtful?
So let me say two things about it. The
Yeah.
first is, I think a lot of the critiques of how it's being done are very fair. And I think it's important to distinguish that from the discussion of the principles.
So,
Because I think the principles are important, and we should want to have the right set of principles and not throw them out just because they're not being pursued in the way we might like. When it comes to something like the Mar-a-Lago Accord, I think what you see people talking about and trying to move toward is to say, if we think this sort of liberal world order system, first of all, even if it was serving the U.S. well at one point, is not serving it as well anymore. Second of all, to some extent, may just be going away anyway. China is now rising as a peer competitor. The U.S. cannot be a unipolar hegemon like it was when the Cold War ended. So if we accept that things are going to change, we should have a perspective on what we want to follow. Mm-hmm. And something that I've been writing about a lot is trying to interpret and decipher what that might look like. Because again, it's a very fair critique. They have not been as clear about it as we should want them to be. What I think we should want, mm-hmm. and what, like I said, folks in the administration like a Marco Rubio or a Scott Bessent, who I think do write and speak thoughtfully about it, mm-hmm. have pointed toward.
So that I think it's something I said before, and he actually brought it up in the very beginning of this thing. Is it possible that the one big thing is that the fact that number one is being talked about, two, it's motion is happening, something is happening. We can always correct course, but let's get it going. Let's stop hemorrhaging. Let's stop hemorrhaging the money. All right, and then let's get this going, and then you can always come in. You can come back in and start, you know. It's like you know what it is. I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna stop here. I prefer that. I'm glad that my upbringing was stricter first. If it's strict first, tough first, we can always negotiate, making it easier. But if it starts out where it's just chaos, like when I say chaos, that means um, everything goes, right? It's all good, right? Do whatever you want. If it starts there, it's hard to rein it in. Okay. Like right now, with all the spending, they're trying to rein it in, and it's hard to rein it in. Someone said one time, you're going to lose an election if you try to make any adjustment to any of the benefits that people are getting, that the stuff they're living off of, because it's just human nature. You're taking away their goodies, right? And they've gotten comfortable to it, right? Just imagine if your job said it wants, and we have a choice. We can either lay people off or we can take a pay cut. Either no option is good, right? But nobody's going to volunteer to take a pay cut without this tragedy, without the company risk, going under, right? So, but I'm glad that it's being talked about, and now they can say, well, how do we like it to be done? Yes, let's get it done, and we can tweak getting it done. Anyway, let's get back to this machine. I got the screw out, folks. All right. So now you just have to lift the motor up. If I give you guys the confidence, you can do these things yourself. Okay. and you save money, man, I've done my job. Okay, honest, I've done the job. Now I'm gonna try to get this out of here, and if I have to make an adjustment, I will. Give me a second. All right, I already took the screws out. Let me see what's left, and it's inserted into this section right here, this part. So this part is kind of still holding it in. So I'm trying to see if I have to. Like I said, it's been a while since I went back into this thing again. I'm thinking I have to pull it up and out. Okay, let's see. Interesting. Let me see. If you go in this way, sideways, and turn it down, that way. I'm trying to make sure that when it's time to put it back in here, it's an easier way to put it back in. But do I have to move this out the way? This piece here, does this white piece have to move out the way in order for this to go in properly? Let me see something. Look at the amount of, look, I want you to look at this. Take a look at this. Look at this motor. And look at the amount of, you can see that the fan is busted already. So sometimes you may hear a rattling noise in your machine. And the rust, especially if it's a shampoo, rust is going to get to it no matter what, guys, just to let you know. There's no way how's this? You cannot avoid this. You can't avoid it. The fact that your machine is pulling in suction, right? And is directly connected to the return bin, the dirty water bin. Mist is going to get into your vacuum. Mist. Even if the bulk of the water never makes it to your motor, the mist is going to get there and is going to cause rust in any shampooer. All right, it would have to be some ridiculous advanced design to separate the mist that is going to naturally come when that just like every vacuum, dust is going to find its way down to the vacuum. So the people put filters in this way to block the dust, because the dust is going to make its way to the vacuum motor, because the vacuum motor is demanding suction, it's calling like come, and it's very powerful. So the micro dust particles is going to find its way, and eventually it'll cake up over a period of time. And even the vacuum with great filters, that dust is going to find its way. So this is look at this. And I know there are people who found ways to open these things up, but it's not, for the average person, it's not worth it to even mess with this. Just buy another motor. Okay. All right. Now take a look. Now remember what I told you? It's all just what did I tell you? Screws and stuff like that. Watch. So now that the motor's in my hand, and you have the new motor, how do you connect it? Right. Okay. Let's cut these cables here. Okay. All right. Cut the cables. Okay. So what do we have? What do we have cooking? Now, you can go further down and find because the cord comes in through this, which section the cord comes? It comes in through here. The cord comes in through here, and we can go further down. And I'll go further down with you. But right now, I'm going to show you the simplest way to do it if you are changing these things out. Keep the what do you call it? Keep your ground connector, so the new one is going to come with this. Okay. And what I would do is I would cut this wiring here, and I would cut this one here. Okay. This you don't have to cut because you have your ends, so you can just reconnect it. So this is the old motor. So when you put the new motor in, okay, you really just have to splice these wires. Okay. And connect them, and then use your ground established connections, and just reconnect everything. Click, 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 click. Put your lid back on, put your screws back in, and your new motor is replaced. It's just like that. Okay. But let's go further. Let's go down a little deeper and see what's down here. Okay, let's explore. You may not want to cut it, and you may just want to put it in the right way. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so these two small screws are for this mound right here. So just kind of keep that in mind. And these medium screws are for the side. Remember, most of the screws are long like this. Okay, so when you get these, you don't want to mix them up with the other stuff. Fair enough. Okay. There's a lot of hidden spots for screws, man. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. Let's see. Let's move some of this out the way for a second. 'Cause I'm here thinking that it needed to be moved out the way for the motor, but it maybe not. May not be necessary. Is there another screw? Is it being held in? Let me see something. Nope. See, there's a screw back here. Hold on. Hold on, folks. Let's see. I've never actually, you know what's funny? I've never been underneath here. I've only I've only spliced it like this. I've always just connected like that. Easy way in, easy way out. So you're gonna explore, you're gonna learn this as I'm learning it right now. All right, let's see. Underneath, take a look at underneath. I was messing with this the other day, so let me see. No, there's no screws on the here. Hold on, maybe, hold on. Let me look deeper. No, nope, nope, there's no screws on the here. But look at where you would get the shite. Look at where you would do it. You would do it this way. You don't even have to do it like that. You have to remove your bottom panel. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna cut this, guys. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. I'm not using this anymore, so I'm okay. All right, I'm gonna cut this. I can't keep doing this. I'm gonna cut these wires off. All right. Adios. Okay. So that means you're gonna remove the bottom panel. Okay. This is where the cord comes in at. I just cut the wires. Okay. And then you can just fit them in through the opening. The opening is right here. The opening is right here. And if you notice, it shows up under here, and you can just fit them in. That means, let me show you. See over here? It's a lot of work though, because you still have to find the corresponding connections. That means you're gonna have to like move the pumps and all that stuff out the way. You see where the wiring is? It's gonna go underneath. See, if you want to stay true to this thing, you're gonna have to pull all of this out to find the original connector joint where your wires were originally connected to. So that's why, for me, it's a lot simpler to just cut the wires here, unless there's electrical damage to the wires, of course, right? Cut the wires here, cut the wire here, and splice the new motor into this. And oh, shite, did it again. Damn it, man. Sorry, guys. I did it again, man. I did the damn thing again. I did it again. I did it again. On you. Sorry about that. Um, one day you guys be paying for this, and it's like, Wayne, come on, come on. I'm paying for this. I said one day. I don't know if that's gonna happen, guys. I'm just joking. Pay for this, man. Every time I come here, your damn mic's not working. Oh, shit, man. All right, all right, all right. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut it out if I repost this. I'll cut it out. That's the benefit of live. You get to see everything, all the mistakes. Oh my gosh! All right. So yeah. So don't go in through the bottom. Forget about that. Just cut the wires here, guys. Cut the wires here, because the moment when I was trying to show you was that in order for you to even reconnect the wires to, like when like the original. Let me show you. Like these are the original like joints to stuff like this, where you have all the 5 wires connected to each other, right? And you kind of want to put your new white wire and connect it right where it's supposed to be. I get that, but it looks like you would have to move a lot of this stuff out of the way to put that new motor in, and it's not really necessary. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you have this shows you that the connector works. Like connecting them, splicing them does work. So you can just do it up top here. All right. You don't feel like you need to run your white for your new motor all the way down. Just have your connector, have it spliced, get your ends, tighten it up, and that's it. You put your new motor in, and then let me see if I can just do it like this. If it'll just slide in, okay? Let me see something. Because it seemed like I want to have a nice, easy way for you guys to put this in. Because it's very tight. Okay, that worked. Okay, look what I did. Okay? Notice what I did. It turned it. Okay? So I went in like this. I went in sideways. Put this part into the hole. Okay? Went in sideways. And then I turned it. And then it dropped. And then it dropped into the slots. And now I could put my screws here. So that's one way, okay? All right. And then you just connect everybody up again, make sure everybody is friends again, put everybody in. You probably want to connect this guy first before you put it in. Because it looks like it's in the back. And that's it. That's how you put a new motor into this thing. Okay. So hopefully I get to save somebody headaches. Number one, of throwing the whole thing away when you can just buy a motor. Okay, you don't want to do that. Also, one little bonus feature before I leave. A bonus feature before I leave, folks, is this. See up top here? And I have a question I'm going to answer somebody, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I got to go pick up my. Holy cow! I got to go pick up my son from school. Got to pick him up from school. So the bonus feature is this. You see these things here? Okay, this flow indicator. Um, being that we're here, that's what it is. Uh, if you notice water is coming up into this thing, um, but it's not spraying, you may just need to replace it. The water coming here means the pump is working. If you see like little water flowing in here and it kind of just hovers around here, but you're still not able to spray, well, know that your pump is working. You may just need to replace this guy. Okay, these are not expensive at all. Okay, so if you have one of these units, this goes bad often. Okay, it's a they've made the new updates, so the new ones are not as effective as the originals. But you may just need to replace that. Okay, and that's it, guys. That's it. I do have a question I'm going to answer for someone, and let me answer it. Okay, let me answer it. Let me get my camera back. Okay, I'm sweating. I have a question to question. Is it a question or is she just making a statement? Let me see. Okay, so after cleaning the machine, the next time I used the hand attachment, it would not spray. I followed all the troubleshooting tips and still nothing. However, I did notice that while attaching it to the machine, it wasn't perfectly clicked in place. Okay, so this is about a Bissell hydro steam. And you know those little Bissell attachments that it clicks? That's what she's talking about, okay? Or he. All right. And went through the assembly all again, trying to figure out if something was slightly misaligned to stop it clicking, but all seemed aligned all right, fine, right? So I was about to run out of ideas, and when, as the last thought I'd decide to put a little bit of grease in a small red O-ring. Huh. Which red O-ring is he referring to? Let me see if I can find one of those attachments. Do I have one? Do I have one? Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, I do have one. I do have one. Okay, let me switch up. All right, before I change, let me see. All right. And I went to attach it again. So he put some lubrication and it worked. All right, fantastic. Well, man, I'm glad. I'm glad it worked for you. Um that's what we're here for. We're gonna continue to glean ideas. Now here's also what's good about this is that think about what it sparks, right? A channel like this, I may have an answer you need, and I may not, right? Not everything I'm going to talk about you're going to jive with, right? You may just say, "Man, wait, why don't you shut up with the tariff thing? I just want to see how you take the motor out." That's fine. And I'll upload that video separately without the banter and all the other stupid stuff. But it sparks a conversation. It sparks going in the right direction, and that's what I was talking about with the country. It sparks something, okay? And let's work with that. Let's start there, okay? So let's see what he's talking about with Oshi talking about when it comes to the attachment, real quick, and then I feel like I did my job, right? Okay, let's see what we have, and I'll be heading to school right after this. All right, let's move this out the way. Move my old motor. All right, so attachments. Let's see. All right, let's see what was happening. So according to what he was explaining, just in case you have the same problem, this wasn't clicking in. Okay. This is the ring he's talking about. He put some lubricant on here, and I guess it was stopping. It wasn't going in all the way, so it was probably not allowing it to go all the way in. I got you. Okay. All right. I'm hip to that. Okay, I'm hip to that. The other thing you can do when you have a spray problem with any vacuum, any shampooer like this, like a Hoover, a Bissell, I mean, is go back to the base of it, take this off, okay, and take your go to the go you want to find your way back to the source, okay, as close as you can to the source to see if the water is still flowing. So I would take this off here and turn it on and see if water just spew out. Okay, let me show you what I mean. If this thing works the way it's supposed to, let's pop this off. It's supposed to slide back and out, right? If this works the way it's supposed to, I'm supposed to be able to take this off, okay, without pressing any triggers or anything. And the moment I turn this thing on, water's supposed to spew out. Not right now. This is just leftover water. So let me get a container. Get a container, and I'm gonna plug this in and turn it on. And the moment it turns on, water is really just supposed to flow out. And that's a good way to test your attachment, your hose attachment, to see if at least the pump is doing its job. And then I can see if something else is wrong. All right, let's turn it on. See that? So the moment it turns on, the water is supposed to just start spewing. This guy is the stopper that keeps the water in check. So if I put this on, right, the water will stay dammed up until I press the button. So watch, turn it on. So all this did was release the water. Just imagine that there's a hole, there's a hole, okay, and okay, okay, imagine it like this, okay. There's a hole here, right, and the water is dammed up, okay. Here it is. The water is dammed up. It's not going any further. And then I pushed it down, Okay, and now the water can flow through that hole. And then when I release it, the opening closes back up. And that's what this is doing. That's what this is doing. Let me show you underneath here. Okay, so when you push it down, it's allowing the water to escape. Anyway, that's that, folks. All right, so thanks for hanging out at Monroe Vax 360. Okay, and that's actually the kind of camera I use. 360. Let me see if I have. Let me see if I have. Me and this camera, we are not friends. I have a better relationship with AIs than I do with this damn camera. You know, at least they'll say, "Hey, Wayne, what's going on? What's today's update? You know, let me tell you today's stock update." They say my name. Damn. All right. So tune in for more, guys, and that's it. Don't forget to pick up your backpack at MonroeVacuums.com. We have them on sale right now, and we'll be back with more tutorials. So you're going to be able to soon identify which live you want to join in on, because I think it's going to be kind of broken down into segments, you know. So if I'm doing just tech stuff, if I'm doing just tutorial alone on a vacuum, you can always search the channel for specific tips on Kirby, Hoover, Dyson, whatever, right? So you're going to have that archive ready for you. They're going to, kind of commentary stuff ready for you. Right now, that's kind of how I want to go about it. Okay. So anyway, thanks for the support. Thanks for the members that come check. We do have a Patreon. I don't really promote it much. I think all my archive live stuff will go over there. Behind the scene type stuff will go over there. Stuff I'm doing in the shop. You don't want to see my stock room, but I may show it to you. It is ridiculously junky. The stock room that I have is too much, and I'm trying to kind of make that a little neater. All right, folks. It's been a pleasure, a plump, pleasing pleasure and a privilege. And I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.